I did it. I discovered the ultimate cheat code for SaaS. 4 of them, to be exact. I've listed all 4 of the SaaS cheat codes that I've discovered over the past 15 plus years, starting my own companies, investing in more than 150 SaaS companies. These 4 cheat codes are listed in my new book, The SaaS Playbook. And in this video, I'm gonna dive deep into one of the SaaS cheat codes that I think is an incredible power up for your startup. I'm Rob Walling, a serial entrepreneur with multiple exits. I've written 4 books on starting companies, and I've invested in more than 150 startups. And if you stick around till the end of this video, you can learn how to manifest this cheat code in your startup. So here I am with my I love you more than my sibling does mug of cold brew, ready to dive in to SaaS cheat codes. I've talked on this channel about net negative churn and expansion revenue, and I cover all 4 of my SaaS cheat codes in my new book, The SaaS Playbook. Talk about that a little later, about how I dive into these cheat codes and talk about how to use them, how to take advantage of them. Today's cheat code is a dual funnel. And I want to define that for you if you've never heard this term. If you've watched this channel before, you've likely heard me talk about a low touch funnel and a high touch funnel. Low touch is just what it sounds like. People mostly self-sign up, self-onboard. There's a little support here and there, but it's not a massive sales process. It's really focused on marketing, and it's focused on driving leads to a website, maybe getting them to opt into your email list, looking at website visitor to trial sign up, trial to paid, retention. It's a basic marketing funnel. A high touch funnel is often where you're doing cold outbound, and it's a sales driven funnel. Tons of demos, often an enterprise sales process, a lot higher annual contract values, higher price points, and much more sales effort to land each individual deal, but the deals are worth a lot more to your bottom line. So we have a low touch funnel, sometimes I call it a no touch funnel, and a high touch funnel. A dual funnel is where you have both funnels running simultaneously on the same product. So you have this high volume, low touch funnel and a low volume, high sales effort, high annual contract value, high touch funnel. I'm going to talk about a couple SaaS examples of this in a minute, but imagine that you have folks self-signing up for $10, $20, $30 a month. So what is that? $120, $240, $360 a year, even up into the $100 or $200 per month. Still, people can self-onboard. You think about MailChimp. You think about my last SaaS app, Drip. We had these low price points. We had a high volume of trials and a high volume of conversion to paid. In addition, you can have a high touch funnel. Let's say it's $20,000 per year, $50,000, $100,000 per year and up. The high touch takes a lot more effort, but each contract brings in a lot more value. And having a dual funnel with both of these happening at once is an incredible superpower. There's a reason I call it a SaaS cheat code. And in a couple minutes, I'll talk specifically about why that is. I remember years ago, it was more than a decade ago, I heard about a company called Wufoo. It was a Y Combinator company. And think of it like an online form builder, maybe a precursor to Typeform. And they sold for millions of dollars, maybe tens of millions. I don't remember what the purchase price was. But when they sold, one of their founders said that more than 80% of their revenue came from these big enterprise deals. And you would never have known that from the outside. They had their $10, $20, $30, $40 price points. And I always thought they were this self-service SaaS. But it turns out they had a dual funnel, perhaps the first one that I've ever heard of. I coined the term dual funnel, I think maybe 3 or 4 years ago, as I started investing in more startups through my accelerator, TinySeed. And I realized that having folks coming in self-serve in high volume, as well as having the low touch, high annual contract value enterprise deals is this incredible cheat code. So to give you an idea of the more than 150 startups that I've invested in, the majority of them grow the fastest from enterprise deals. And that's not an uncommon thing. But a dual funnel, as I've already described, is where you have enterprise deals plus that low touch, low price point funnel. One example of this is a TinySeed company called Signwell. And this is electronic signature. So Signwell competes with DocuSign and HelloSign. And what Signwell has, if you go to their homepage, click on that pricing link, you'll see that they have low priced individual or per seat plans. And then they have their API that would allow you to embed Signwell functionality in your app. And the price to do that, to use their API and embed, is substantially more, 10 times, 50 times, 100 times more than their self-serve. They have a massive funnel of self-serve customers coming in on the low end in terms of price point. And then they have these incredible enterprise deals. There's far fewer of them and they take a lot longer to close, but those two combined are able to provide Signwell with substantial growth. I was in the same situation with my my last startup, Drip, and I didn't realize that was the case. I hadn't coined this term dual funnel yet, but we had folks on our $49 plan, $100 plan, $149 a month, and then we had folks coming in with millions of emails saying, we want to pay you $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month. And in essence, we had a dual funnel. We had an entire sales team, but we also had a really strong marketing team that were driving leads to the low touch. And those two combined allowed us to grow very quickly. I can name 5 more examples, but I'll stop at one. Another example is WP Engine, which is one of the, if not the largest WordPress hosting company in the world. I was an angel investor in WP Engine, and they have lower price hosting plans, and they have hosting plans that are thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars a month. And they are a unicorn. They are a company valued at more than $1 billion. So dual funnels can be with mostly bootstrapped, and with venture-backed companies. So you might be wondering, why not just have a high touch funnel? The problem with high touch funnels is they can be pretty demoralizing. They're low volume, your growth is really jagged, because low touch funnels are so much smoother. You drive X amount of visitors per month, Y convert to trial, and Z become paying customers. And usually you can have a pretty smooth growth curve if you have repeatable traffic channels. But enterprise deals are slow. They take forever to close. And oftentimes you're working on 5 or 10 deals that might not close for 6 months. It's incredible to have hundreds of new trials a month or hundreds of new customers, because inevitably some of them will be aware of your brand and they will become enterprise customers, or they serve as this great fan base on social media, on LinkedIn, on Capterra, on Facebook groups, wherever people are talking about the problem that you solve. When you only have 10 or 20 customers, you can have a great business. Let's say you do $500,000 a year with 30 customers, right? But if you can do $500,000 a year with 3,000 customers, although support will be much larger of an issue, you have a brand out in the Twitter sphere, right? Or in the Facebook sphere, which is totally not a word, but follow me on this. When you have that mini brand, you have advocates, you have people who use your product, who are fans of your product. And that can often make it easier to close these enterprise deals because you have so much momentum in the space. Lastly, as I said earlier, enterprise deals are a grind without a constant flow of new sales, and a low-touch funnel can keep you motivated. It can keep the growth going in the months that you don't close the big deals. There's another reason that dual funnels are so incredible. In a second, I'll tell you how you can create a dual funnel in your own startup. But before I do that, if you want to read about all the SaaS cheat codes, they're in this book, The SaaS Playbook. Build a multi-million-dollar startup without venture capital. You can head to saasplaybook.com, or these days, it should be on Amazon and Audible, Amazon.com, or wherever greater books are sold. Not only do I cover the 4 SaaS cheat codes, but I try to lay out everything that I know about marketing and sales and pricing and building your team and mindset, just all the stuff that you would want to know to build, launch, and grow your own SaaS company. So how to create a dual funnel if one doesn't already exist? There's really 3 ways that I've seen. Sometimes it happens naturally. If you have expansion revenue, you can have small and large customers. If you naturally have pricing that allows for people to pay you $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, the more seats they have or the more emails they send, then a dual funnel can emerge naturally. Other times, you really have to listen to what customers are asking for, because they might be using your $20 a month service, but be asking to white label your software or do an integration with your software. And as we saw with the example of Signwell earlier in this video, that may be the thing that you can charge $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month for. The idea is to listen to what your customers are asking for, and even if you don't want to build it, think about, could I charge thousands a month for it? And then maybe reconsider potentially building it and developing your own dual funnel. And still other times you might need to keep tabs on your competitors to see if they start offering extremely high priced enterprise plans, because they may get there before you, right? They may know the strategy, or they may have found the in on how to create a dual funnel. And you can always look at them and figure out, how can I create a similar situation? If you want to learn more about how I launched this book on Kickstarter, generating over $108,000 in 30 days, you'll want to check out this video. Thanks for watching.